She was a Hollywood icon, celebrated for her beauty and strength on screen, but Angelina Jolie's greatest act of bravery would happen far from the spotlight. When a genetic test revealed she carried a mutation that put her at a dangerously high risk for breast cancer, the same disease that had taken her mother, Angelina faced a terrifying choice. With a determination that would inspire millions, she stepped into the unknown, choosing a preventive double mastectomy to take control of her own fate and redefine her life. Her journey, marked by resilience, vulnerability, and a fierce love for her family, would soon become a beacon of courage for women everywhere. Angelina Jolie had always been seen as fearless, a woman who took on the world with elegance and strength, no matter the challenges she faced. Yet, nothing in her life had prepared her for the moment she learned that she carried a gene mutation, BRCA1, that gave her an estimated 87% chance of developing breast cancer. This was the same disease that had taken her mother's life too soon, leaving a void that would forever be felt. For Angelina, this news wasn't just about statistics. It was personal, a painful reminder of watching her mother suffer, of helplessly holding her hand as she slipped away, defeated by a relentless disease. The thought of losing her own life to cancer became not just a possibility but a threat that loomed closer each day. Angelina thought of her children, their innocent faces, their laughter, and the moments of joy they shared. She pictured them growing up without her, a mother gone too soon, just as she had lost her own. This image haunted her, fueling a desire to break this cruel pattern. The decision to undergo a preventive double mastectomy was one that no one could make for her. It was a choice she had to face alone, head-on, carrying the weight of what she might lose but also what she would save, her life, her future with her family. The journey toward that decision wasn't easy. Angelina wrestled with fears and doubts, questions that only she could answer. How would she feel without this part of herself? How would her body, her identity, her sense of femininity be affected? And how would her audience, the world that watched her every move, who admired her strength and beauty, see her after this? But above all, she wondered if this sacrifice could truly protect her, if it could give her the chance to see her children grow up, to live the years that cancer had stolen from her mother. During this difficult time, her family became her pillar of support. Brad, her partner and confidant, encouraged her to do what she felt was best for her health, no matter what that meant for their lives. He stood by her side as she grappled with the unknown, assuring her that her beauty, her worth, her very essence, went far beyond any physical part of her. Her children, though young, brought her an unwavering joy, a light that reminded her every day of what she was fighting for. It was for them, these precious lives who depended on her love, guidance, and presence, that she found her strength. As the decision took shape in her mind, she began to understand that this was about more than her body, more than any single part of herself. It was about living with courage, making a choice that might change how the world saw her but would ultimately give her the chance to shape her own future. It was about redefining beauty and strength, on her own terms, with a message that would go far beyond Hollywood or the glamour of fame. And so, Angelina Jolie made the decision. She would have the surgery. She would take back control over her fate, facing the fears, the physical pain, and the emotional journey ahead. In that moment, she transformed from an admired actress to something more, an advocate for women's health, a warrior against cancer, and a mother fighting for her family. It was a decision that would change her life, and in sharing it, she would go on to change the lives of countless others. The day of Angelina's surgery arrived with a weight she hadn't felt before. It was as if the world held its breath with her, a rare moment of stillness in a life that had always been on the move. She walked into the hospital knowing that this would be one of the most challenging days of her life. There was no script for this, no rehearsals, no character to slip into for comfort. This was raw, personal, and terrifying. As she lay on the operating table, surrounded by doctors and machines, she closed her eyes and thought of her family, holding on to that image for strength. The hours after the surgery were filled with pain, confusion, and a sense of loss that cut deeper than the physical wounds. Waking up to the reality of what she had gone through, Angelina felt both liberated and vulnerable. She had taken control, made the decision to save her own life, yet she couldn't help but feel as if a part of her had been taken as well. Every glance in the mirror reminded her of the change, each bandage a reminder of the journey she was now on. Days turned into weeks, and with each one, she found herself on a slow road to recovery. The physical pain eventually began to dull, but the emotional journey was only just beginning. Angelina's days were filled with doctor appointments, follow-ups, and long nights of reflecting on the choice she had made. She knew this wasn't just her journey, she had become a symbol of hope for women facing similar battles. And while she hadn't planned for this, she felt the weight of their hopes, their fears, and their struggles. They were looking to her, and she wanted to be worthy of that trust. When she finally felt strong enough, Angelina decided to share her story with the world. She penned a heartfelt letter that revealed everything: her BRCA1 diagnosis, the surgery, the doubts and fears, and her desire to take control of her own future. She spoke directly to women, encouraging them to take charge of their health, to ask questions, to know their options. Her words were honest and brave, revealing the intimate details of her journey that she could have easily kept private. But she chose to speak out, to be vulnerable, so that others wouldn't have to feel alone in their fears. Her openness was met with an outpouring of support from women around the globe. Letters, messages, and stories flooded in from those who felt seen, who felt empowered, who saw in her their own struggles. Angelina's decision sparked a worldwide conversation about genetics, cancer prevention, and women's health. It was a topic that had once been spoken of in whispers, but now, because of her, it became part of the global dialogue. But with the support also came challenges. Not everyone understood her choice. Critics questioned her decision, some even suggesting that it was too extreme. But Angelina didn't waver. She had made this choice for herself and her family, knowing that not everyone would understand. Yet, she believed it was worth it if it meant that even one life could be saved, one woman could feel encouraged to take her health into her own hands. Through it all, Angelina remained steadfast. She had faced her worst fears, confronted her doubts, and was now on a path of healing. She wasn't just recovering physically, she was discovering a new resilience within herself, a strength that had always been there but was now undeniable. She had become more than an actress or a public figure, she was a beacon of hope, a voice for those who felt unheard. Angelina's story was no longer just her own. It belonged to everyone who had ever been afraid of a diagnosis, who had ever faced a difficult choice, and who had ever needed the courage to stand up and fight. And in sharing her journey, she knew she was helping to pave the way for a future where no woman would ever feel alone in her battle. In the months following her mastectomy, Angelina Jolie began to reclaim her life. She had faced one of the hardest battles of her journey, and now, each day felt like a testament to the strength she had found within herself. Her body was healing, but more importantly, her spirit was coming alive again. She could laugh freely with her children, hold them without fear, and look into their eyes, knowing she had done everything she could to be there for them. She had taken her life into her own hands, and she had won. Life, however, was not the same. Angelina saw herself with a new perspective. She was now a woman who had faced her deepest fears and emerged on the other side. She had come to understand that true beauty was not in physical perfection, but in courage, resilience, and the strength to make choices that mattered. She felt the profound responsibility of her platform and decided that her story could continue to impact others, not just as a single moment but as an ongoing legacy. She would use her voice to break the silence surrounding women's health issues, to encourage open conversations, and to help others feel empowered. As she took her message further, Angelina saw an unexpected ripple effect. She had given many women around the world permission to take their health into their own hands, to prioritize themselves, and to face the unknown with courage. The impact of her story was felt in hospitals, in conversations between mothers and daughters, in support groups, and in doctors' offices. Women who had once been afraid of getting tested, of seeking information, or even talking about their health began to see things differently. Angelina had shown them that they weren't alone, that they, too, could be brave. Her advocacy work grew. She began meeting with medical experts, speaking at conferences, and partnering with organizations dedicated to breast cancer research and genetic counseling. She became more than an actress or a public figure. She was a powerful voice for women's health. Angelina didn't want any woman to feel the isolation or fear that she had once faced, and she wanted everyone to understand the life-changing power of knowledge. Her mission was to create a world where women felt supported, educated, and empowered to make informed choices about their bodies. Years later, as she looked back on her journey, Angelina knew her story was part of a larger movement, a movement that encouraged women to live without fear, to ask questions, and to fight for their health. Her decision had sparked a global dialogue, and that conversation continued, influencing policy changes, inspiring medical advancements, and opening doors to new possibilities for future generations. She knew she had not only saved her own life but had given countless others the courage to save theirs. In the quiet moments, Angelina found peace. She could embrace her scars as symbols of resilience and strength, reminders of the battle she had chosen to fight. She no longer saw them as losses but as victories. They were her legacy, a message to her children, to women everywhere, and to herself that true beauty lies in the courage to protect what you love, no matter the cost. Angelina Jolie's choice to share her journey was more than a personal revelation, it became a gift to the world. She had used her own story to lift others, to bridge the gaps of silence and fear that had surrounded women's health for too long. Her legacy was no longer just in film or fame, it was in lives touched, voices empowered, and futures forever changed. And in that legacy, she found her greatest role yet, a role of compassion, strength, and enduring courage.